to All Blood and Sweat. I'm Jack Watson, and today we are landed in automotive heaven, otherwise known as Joe Macari's Performance Car Centre in London. This place is full of some amazing treats. We won't have time to touch on all of them, so we're just going to touch on a few special things. Here we've got a series of E-types. We've got this lightweight E-type, which is definitely my kind of colour combination. Space for the roundel. It's almost like a cosmic ivory colour, which is amazing. Then we've got another lightweight E-type, single seat, so it was a little bit more of a selfish one. So for anyone that wants to potentially could have been at Goodwood Revival this weekend with this car, probably have access, unless it's a recreation. Oh my god, there's so many amazing things here. So 177, Aston Martin's just released their new Aston Martin Vanquish, and there's a lot of people saying that the new Vanquish actually has some inspiration from the 177, and you can kind of see it. I would probably disagree a little bit, to be honest with you. This is a lot more, it's starting to show its age a little bit, in my opinion, to be honest with you, but still absolutely mega. One thing I love about this car is it was designed that every single surface was an A surface, which means that even in the underpinnings of the car, every single little thing was designed like it could be on show one day. So you've got like visible suspension arms in the back. I mean, no storage, but don't need it. You've got this huge clamshell bodywork going all the way around the back of the car. It's basically one piece all the way around the back, so you do not want to ding it. Right, let's keep walking around. Right, we have to touch on this. The DeLorean. I mean, what is there to say about a proper Back to the Future DeLorean? It looks almost. Is it a movie one? Like, it looks almost like it might be a genuine movie one because it is a bit tatty, if you know what I mean. So like, normally the ones from the movies, the real ones from the movies are a little bit more thrown together and a bit more haphazard than the recreations, because the recreations are always a little bit too perfect, if that makes sense. In the same way that like a recreation E-type might be too perfect, a recreation DeLorean from Back to the Future is sometimes too perfect. One thing that is never perfect on a DeLorean is the shut lines, all over the place. But that's because it's well before the Cybertruck. This was the first car to have the sort of raw metal panels on it. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to walk past I think it's a 250 California. I'll be honest, there's a lot of cars here and they have nothing on them, so I'm testing my knowledge here. And like I said before, I'm just an idiot car designer. I don't actually know everything about these cars as much as everyone might think. So 250 California, I don't want to guess the price. Just going to say upwards of 15 million probably these days. Then we've got Juan Pablo Montoya's 07 or 08. Wait, did Hamilton replace Montoya? I don't know. Please leave a comment. But anyway, it's a McLaren Formula One car from, I would guess, either 2006 to 2008. Not sure. Who did Hamilton race with? Can't remember now. Bugatti 110, which means 100. I think it's like celebrating 100 years of Bugatti. And I don't know how many of these they made, but not a lot. And they're worth millions of pounds. Some people say it looks like a seagull at the front. It's got like a seagull eye, which, yeah, I mean, in real life, it's pretty mega. I actually love the like visual weight of the rear of this car, because it's meant to look like the old EB110, and it does have that effect. So, I mean, you can see the inspiration is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's move on. This is a smaller Ferrari convertible. Again, God, my Ferrari knowledge on these videos is not going well. I don't 100% know which one this is. I know it's going to be early 60s, but yeah, the colour is like almost British racing green, but darker, which is pretty mega. I don't think it has an original interior. If it does, that's amazing, because like all the leather's super taut and tight. Big Pininfarina badge on the side. Obviously, Pininfarina used to do all the design work for Ferrari back in the day. This one you might recognise from the movie Le Mans 66. So it was, I think this was a Ferrari P4, I want to guess, which was their like 60s Le Mans car. And yeah, I mean, look at it, it's crazy. The proportions are mad. It's got 2 seats, but not really. I think back then a lot of Le Mans cars had to have 2 seats and a spare wheel. So don't know where the spare wheel is on this one. But yeah, you've got these like really tight seating configuration, massive sills, and just these like fins on the front, really low, wide. Looks amazing actually. Super cool. Then we've got a bit of a halo of Le Mans, a halo car of Le Mans, like the Big Daddy, the Porsche 917K, I think. I'm gonna guess it's a K. These things they look massive when you see it on the internet, but in real life it's quite a small car. It's like the size of a 5 Series. But again, tiny cockpit, crammed in there, 2 people crammed in there, like shoulder to shoulder. The glass is super curved around. This looks like it's been around the block. It's got a cracked windshield, which is kind of amazing for like to see basically a Le Mans spec Porsche 917 with a cracked windshield. It's got the big fat chunky Avon tyres on it, which I think are hard to come by these days. Now this, oh my god. So 250 GTO. I love this thing. The colour is amazing. It's like, oh my god, I'm going to offend some colour and trim designers out there, but it's almost got like a pearlescent flip of like bluey green. It's like an aquamarine blue. If any Ferrari nerds know the actual colour, please let me know. And then the stripe is, I think it's white, but these lights are quite yellow, so it looks quite cream in this colour. One thing I like about the GTO as well is like it had active aero in a way, because you could plug up the front of this car, and then you unplug them when you need to get more fuel into the V12 at the front. It's an American one as well. Interesting. Oh my god. Look at the way right, so this has got the old school way of keeping the 250 GTO has like leather straps to keep the bonnet down. This, you've got these like weird little spring-loaded metal clips, but they look heavier than the leather, to be fair, which is kind of surprising. Then we've got a Valkyrie. I'm going to put it out there, I don't love the design of the Valkyrie. I appreciate it from a technological point of view, but from a pure styling and like visual point of view, I think it's gone beyond it's crossed the border of beautiful car design into just pure functional aesthetic, which can work, but you know, I prefer this over like a Porsche 962 as a functional aesthetic, because it works aerodynamically for the time, and I guess this just shows the difference in terms of like where we were and where we are. We know a lot more about aerodynamics, and we've got a very sort of skinny, elongated cabin that's fully carbon fiber compared to an old, probably fiberglass body or something, whatever the 962 is made out of. Derek Bell raced this car probably at Le Mans, I would assume. Here we go. So I don't know if it's just my Instagram, but recently there's Instagram always has those AI generative fill captions, and most of them on mine seem to be about the Mercedes CLK GTR. This is what an actual CLK GTR looks like. This car's famous for actually going flying at Le Mans. It did a couple backflips into a woodland with, I think, Mark Webber at the wheel. And one thing I loved about this era of Le Mans cars is to homologate these cars, they had to actually make like 25 of them for the road, which is absolutely insane, because like people can actually own this car, drive it on the road. You can see the carbon fiber through the paintwork, which is amazing. Yeah, super cool. I've seen videos of people trying to get in and out of the road-going ones, which is extremely difficult to do. Okay, let's move on to this. This is a this is a Singer AECS, I think. So it's like it's basically if you took the Dakar Porsches and you scaled it up to a level that was just unimaginable in terms of like performance, and you just were like, what's the craziest version of a Dakar Porsche can you make? Porsche, I don't think this was meant to have a limited production run, I think, but then there was some legal issues because they'd almost changed so much of the original car, or there was like an issue where Porsche basically said stop, and they haven't actually produced more than this one, I think. It's engineered, and I know it's engineered by Tuthill, and I don't know if Tuthill actually makes it as well. But This is the only one I've seen online or around. I've seen in videos running down the beach. One thing I love about this car as well is they actually painted the undersides of the... So like when we talk in car design, we talk about the grey areas. So it's like when you open a door, it's the bit between the outside of the car and the inside of the inside of the car. And this one, like underneath the bonnet and the boot, I think they actually, or the frunk and the engine bay, they actually painted and made like some graphic designs on the inside of it, which is a really cool approach, I think. This is a one-off Rolls-Royce Wraith made by Niels van Rohe Design, which he's a Dutch coachmaker, and he basically made a shooting brake station wagon version of a Rolls-Royce Wraith. I'm not going to pass too much comment on this because I love a shooting brake, but I don't think this one's executed very well in my opinion. I don't know a lot about any of these cars, if you can't tell that already. Wow. Alfa Romeo must be a pre-war Alfa, probably from the 20s or 30s. This is from a time when Alfa Romeo dominated automotive racing. Like Enzo Ferrari used to race Alfa Romeos. I think his first car with the Ferrari badge on the side of it was actually an Alfa Romeo that he was racing, and it was like his racing motif was actually the Ferrari badge. Now, is this real? I keep saying is this real, but we're in Joe Macari, which I can only assume this is 100% real. This is a very heavily patinaed 2.7 RS, I think, from the 70s. And looking at the other caliber of the cars in here, I can only assume this is real. Oh my god, this is so patinaed. It's like rusty and everything. This has been well used. It's got like rusty flanges, all the paint's peeling away. Yeah, oh my god, it's got the proper like rust around the window. This has been very well used. I want to know the history of this car. This is amazing. Yeah, 2.7 Carrera RS, 2.7 Carrera RS, yeah. Gorgeous, amazing. I'm kind of a bit struck by that car, to be honest with you. Here we go. It says TR12 on the number plate, but I don't remember them being called TR12s. They're called TR something, aren't they? TRFs? TR? Doesn't say on the back. Anyway, Ferrari racing car from the late 50s. I think this car used to run in Mille Miglia in the late 50s, actually, in the front-engined era of Ferrari before they went to the mid-engined era in the 60s. So yeah, wow. Olio, like your oil temperature, aqua water temperature, revs times 100, revs up to 7,500, 8,000. Oh my god! And then in the passenger side, I think this must be a Mille Miglia one, because in the passenger side, actually, I think it's got all the like fuses and timing clocks and stuff, and it's got its own speedo. So I guess for the driver is just keeping an eye on their revs and all the making sure the engine's okay, and then the co-driver's got a fuel gauge and a speedo, so they can make sure that everything is like being managed properly throughout the race, and that yeah, and he's got a kill switch as well, which I don't know if you've seen the Ferrari movie recently, but yeah, a crash in one of these things is not the most ideal place to be. Wow, okay. We've got a couple of, I think, 275s, which everybody says the 250 GTO is probably the most beautiful Ferrari ever, which I'd have to agree, the short wheelbase. But if this is a 275, it doesn't actually say, but this has got to be up there for me. Like the plan shapes on this car, it's just basically like, it's almost like they looked at a Riva boat and just were like, yeah, let's just take like one massive swooping line down the side of the car. Again, this like gorgeous silvery blue colour. I don't know really. I've seen it on a few modern Ferraris, this colour actually, but again, I do not know what it is. I think we've got Goodwood on the screen behind us, yeah. Shame we couldn't be there this year. And then we've got another 275. That one's got a power bulge. This one doesn't. Don't know what that means. Maybe that one's charged somehow. Crazy. Who's got a spare 30 million quid lying around? 360 Spider. There we go. These things I think they're already well up in value, to be honest. You gotta love the visible engine though on the Ferraris. Like, it's just amazing. Seeing the sand casted engine block, super cool. another California or Spider Ferrari. Right. Okay, two very special Porsches in the middle here. Got a 918 Spider, which was one of the three, the holy triple, whatever you want to call it, where you had the McLaren P1, the 918 Spider, and the LaFerrari. The LaFerrari we actually walked past at the front. There's no McLaren P1 in here. They're missing a trick. This was basically the first, or in those three hybrid hypercars of the time. When I lived in London, I used to see a guy doing his weekly shop in one of these, which is crazy because I don't think there's even much boot space. One thing I will say is the cup holders in my Cayman are nicer than this one. Deployable spoiler at the back. Again, looks mega with it down. And you've got these exhausts coming out the top of the car, which is like super cool because it just spits flames as it's going around a track, and there's a tiny little window in the middle. The sculpture on this car is amazing. It's actually stunning. You've got a little rear view camera hidden in the diffuser. This is basically like the concept spec. So it's the Porsche Silver with the same concept wheels. The one that I saw where the guy did his grocery shopping in it was black on black, which was pretty mega. Now this is a bit of a... For car people, it's a bit of a holy grail car. For non-car people, they honestly overlook it. Like, you just got to listen to Doug DeMuro talking about how he can take his down the shops and nobody even really looks at him twice because they just think, oh, it's another Porsche. But it's a 2003, I think they came out, Carrera GT. Very famous for, unfortunately, killing Paul Walker, rest in peace, who was basically one of the reasons I became a car designer, weirdly enough. The interior is nowhere near as nice as the 918, obviously, because it's got basically the steering wheel from a 986 Boxster in it. Like all Porsches, it's got the Le Mans key start on the side, on the outside of the car. And yeah, I mean, this car is showing its age very well. Can't see the mileage on it, but yeah, I mean, this is a bucket list car to drive, I think, really. I'm not even sure. I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say I'm not even sure I'd want to own one, but yeah, bucket list car to drive one of those. Let's finish this off with a 275 GTB, I think. I think it's the shorter one. I think the other ones are longer. This one's in a really cool purple. Looks like Joker spec. Very cool. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me on this little walk around of Joe Macari's performance car showroom in South London, let's say. Amazing place, literally heaven on earth for car people like us. Just before we leave on the way out, just wanted to touch on this LaFerrari Aperta. Yeah, what do they call it? The Big Five, the Big Five in Ferrari, and this is just before the LaFerrari replacement is going to be announced this year. So, still looks amazing, even though it's 10 years old, more than 10 years old. No. 47 to 17, 70 years. Yeah, so did this really come out in 2017? Anyway, we looked at the 918. This is the LaFerrari, the other one of the big three. Absolutely amazing car. Still looks really mega. Like the sculpture on the body is just ridiculous. Super cool, lots of detail, and yeah, amazing. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this little walk around. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. You know the drill. Bell, notification. Yeah, thank you very much, and see you next week.